The Rockets' small ball was getting ready to put its foot on the neck of the Thunder and end this series early. But OKC was able to barely eke this one out by holding on just enough through overtime, primarily because Billy Donovan has found a secret weapon, a Harden neutralizer. And while I do admit he's kind of short, allow me to introduce you to Luguentz Dort. The Harden-Dort matchup is quickly becoming the main event in this series, and if Dort can make him work this hard throughout the series, it will continue to go for several more games. Watch how Dort defends the ball screen. He'll go under on most of these, Shea shadows as well, risking an open pop to House to make sure Harden can't get to the basket. Watch the karate chop on the contest. There's got to be something about this provocative move that throws Harden off, to the tune of 3 for 13 from behind the arc. Again, Dort continues to go under the screen to dare Harden to shoot it, and even still is able to make a stab at a contest as the shot bricks. And we might understand why Harden didn't want to take Dort to the hoop when he goes under the screen, because check this play out. Watch how he senses that Harden is looking to initiate contact and almost violently dips his right shoulder out of the way, enabling him to avoid contact, but also position him to easily block this weak finish. This has got to be frustrating the heck out of Harden. In crunch time, the Rockets were down 5 when Dort uncorks his absolute best defensive possession of his career. Rather than go under, he forces Harden away from the screen to his left. Look how he's able to slide to keep his chest in front without fouling. He continues to keep Harden in front after the spin move, and he continues backing up to avoid the inevitable initiation of contact by Harden. Because the contact isn't there, Harden is left stuck in the air, and not only does Dort block this, but knocks it right off of Harden's head for a turnover. These types of plays simply win games for your team. The Rockets completely flipped this game, taking a 5-point lead, and it looked like that was it. But watch Dort pick up Harden early, pressuring to the point where Harden's knees buckle. This time, he won't even let himself be screened by Jeff Green and steals himself for the dance out top. I'm sure Harden remembered how physical it is for him to get to the basket, so he settles for a jumper. Dort yet again uses a violent pull down of his arms to make Harden think about his lower body as he releases the shot, and it bricks again. In overtime, Dort continued to hound Harden, and it's notable because we almost never see this type of defense so consistently executed in a game. He's able to ride Harden outside the lane, avoid leaning into and fouling, and then keeping those hands up to allow him to block yet another shot attempt. Another issue that Thunder coach Billy Donovan is going to have to think long and hard about is whether they can play Steven Adams as many minutes against such small Houston lineups. In Game 3, no less than 4 of their 15 turnovers were simply trying to force it inside to Adams in what would most likely have been a total mismatch had he actually gotten the ball, but instead ended up in the waiting hands of Rockets defenders, whose hands seem to be everywhere on these plays, leaving the Thunder offense empty. And while he did grab 2 offensive boards, you'd think with his size advantage, he'd have grabbed even more, and on one of them it became yet another turnover for OKC. On top of that, when he did have the unfortunate situation of getting switched on to Harden, it was like he was nothing more than an orange cone on the floor. Again, on the ball reversal, he found himself stuck on an island guarding Harden, and once he's beaten, no one else on the floor has the ability to offer any rim protection. And when Donovan sees a play like this, where he was actually in good position to defend, but doesn't have any effect on the runner, he's got to wonder if he should just be matching the smaller lineups of Houston. And without Dort in there to cause trouble for Harden, he gets right by CP3 and into the lane. Adams rotates over and offers very little resistance as he lays it in yet again. While Harden struggled from the field against Dort, we got the good Jeff Green for this game, who scored 22 points in 38 minutes and did a lot of damage early as the ball screener. It was Gordon's turn to be thwarted by Dort. Noel did not have to sink this low in support. As a result, Jeff Green could lick his finger and check the win before shooting, he was so wide open. Just watch the incredible effort of Dort getting around the screen and then getting in a low stance, with Harden simply unable to get around him. It's truly remarkable. The adjustment has to be made that Noel won't need to shadow Harden nearly as much as normal with Dort on him. Since it gives Green so much space, it's easy for him to just let this one fly. but they flipped the script late in regulation and ran the pick and roll with Green as the ball handler. Adams tries to get around, Dort doesn't want to leave Harden, and it ultimately gives a clean runaway right through the rim and the emphatic dunk. And if you want to dunk all over the competition while picking which teams will win their games, then you need Score Metrics, a system that legendary sports bettor John Todora used to propel himself into a multi-million-dollar lifestyle in record time. Score Metrics applies millions of relevant data points with John's customary proprietary analytic models to accurately pinpoint winning profit opportunities in the betting markets. So, get this. Just last year in the 2019 Major League Baseball season, Score Metrics produced a 217% gain. And the back-tested results of the members-only alert system, based purely off the Score Metrics method, have a staggering 6,796% compounded ROI over the last 4 years. Now, for the first time ever, John is opening up access to Score Metrics to the public. To get access and start placing high-probability bets today, click on the link below for more information. What got OKC back in this game late is attacking Harden with Schroeder by forcing the switch. Schroeder ended up 2 for 10 from deep, so this shot selection was curious, but hey, it's a make-or-miss league. They tried to have Jeff Green again run the pick and roll with Harden, and this time Gilgeous-Alexander does a much better job to hedge and stop the ball till Adams can recover. But on the closeout, Harden is in the lane, and if Gallinari is going to help off the corner, it needs to be Adams who rotates to the shooter there. He's simply not used to being in that role, and it's another reason why Donovan needs to go to a smaller lineup to close. That seemed like the game. The only thing Houston cannot do here is give up an easy bucket quick, but Harden wasn't paying attention until it was too late, and CP3 cuts it to 3. The Rockets get a built-in 2-for-1 opportunity to seal the game, and the Thunder completely screw up who they're guarding. How can this be that Adams has to guard Eric Gordon? He promptly gets blown by, good rotations to recover until the ball dies with Harden now top. CP3 gets blown by easily, but Schroeder stunts and recovers perfectly. And man, do the Thunder have to feel fortunate since House hits this ridiculous shot, but not before he stepped out of bounds, giving the ball back to OKC. By the way, the right heel is off the ground here, so was it out of bounds? Without a better angle from floor level, we'll never know. Like I said before, the only job the Rockets have is to at least make the Thunder take some time off the clock. They quickly attack Harden in the pick and roll, Jeff Green must rotate over, and it leaves Adams wide open for the hook. This got weird when they called the foul on CP3, even though both of them were doing some wrestling. But it appears the right arm of Chris Paul across Harden's arm was the moment they decided to call it. And since the ball hadn't been inbounded, Harden got 2 shots plus the Rockets got the ball back. But this time, the Rockets throw the ball away after another pair of players hit the deck. This angle clearly shows Adams did not touch the ball, and on the review, the refs give it back to OKC. And that leads it to CP3, who wants to attack Harden on the switch off the pick and roll. Now, as the ball comes down the left side, normally the lowest guy rotates over, but Jeff Green freelances, House doesn't recognize this and stays home, so Paul hits Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for the wide open go-ahead 3. And the Thunder are about to steal this game. However, Houston runs a nice little play where they enter into the post and try and get Gordon an open shot with a screen in the right wing. Nice slip by House and he gets knocked down, giving them 2 free throws to win. So of course he only hits 1 and OKC gets the last shot. One thing you need to understand is that as good as Dort is on the defensive end, he's a liability in the shooting department. With Harden guarding him, you can see how easily he can sag off of him and ignore Dort out on the perimeter. Here's another example of Harden ignoring him, which allows Green to help on the drive, and Harden can then help on Noel, happily giving up this open 3. Here's a hint for you, Lou. Use the space to drive to the hoop. You're a good dribbler. With that in mind, someone needs to explain to me why the heck Donovan would put Dort in the game for this last possession, where offense is the only need. As it is, it didn't matter much. CP3 got to attack Harden yet again, and again got into the lane, but he forgot to use the backboard on his reverse layup. Make no mistake, flipping it over the head with the right hand is the right way to shoot this, but use the glass. In overtime, you can see how Jeff Green can gum up the works by ignoring Lou in the corner, although Dort makes good by following his rebound and eventually muscling the ball back up to the hoop for 2 free throws, plus drawing Harden's 6th foul, knocking him out of the game. When nobody goes for the rebound, the Thunder get it around to CP3, who had looked tentative in the overtime, but still manages to nail the double pump 3 and get them a 4-point lead. And you can't win a tough-fought playoff game without a little luck, can you? Wanting to run time off is understandable with a 6-point lead, and there's a lack of Dort gravity as House can just stop the drive and ignore his man. And when the shot was passed up, it left CP3 with this insanity, as he literally two-handed throws this up towards the basket in a prayer that gets answered. So, the Rockets should still feel good about themselves up 2-1, and the ball is in Donovan's court whether he'll reduce Adams' minutes and encourage Dort to pass up the open threes in favor of driving and creating. It would be worth giving Bazley some of Adams' minutes and perhaps Muscala, since he can also stretch the defense from behind the arc. Either way, OKC will be playing for their lives once again. And with the specter of Russ coming back at some point soon, the Thunder better get their shots in when they've got the chance. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more playoff breakdowns coming up. We'll have at least one a day during the postseason, so turn on those notifications so you can be alerted right away. You in?